institution. I mean, it's your right to protest, but of course, to the extent that it is very, very peaceful. Do you see the protest that is built for 1st of August as one that may not be peaceful?
Thank you. First of all, it is important to put protest in context because I think there has been so much commentary that some people now get confused and probably something that protest is evil. Protests, like you rightly said, are a vital part of democracy. Protests or the right to protest, or ideally freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Also the right to express yourself is enshrined in our Constitution. I think Section 3940 talks about those two broad concepts. So protests are healthy. They are an integral part of the democratic process. And so for me, the whole narrative, making protests to look like as though it is some kind of anathema, some kind of evil thing, is wrong. Now, protest too can be in different ways. The notion, most people think of protest as street protests. Before the protest gets to the streets, it shows there's a failure in the process, in the communication and engagement process with the citizens or with those that with the led. Protests, if you look at social media, there have been protests about our current situation here now. There have been protests on the social media, people's opinion, people expressing how they feel. Some people even go to the extent of saying what they think should be done differently. Markets, in the churches, those are protests. It's not because they are not out on the street. The question should be, how proactive have we been, both the government and the citizens? Proactive in the sense, for instance, of monitoring, galvanizing those voices, those views on social media, for instance, and using it to create a dialogue that may have prevented need to go on the streets. But now then, so that having not been sufficient on, this is where we are. But whether the protest from 1st of August by some people will be peaceful, it should be peaceful. Now, it depends on what the motives of the organizers are. And that's why I first said,
can you hear us? If you can hear me, we've heard you. You said issues regarding protests are constitutional, and it depends on the way and manner the organizers are going about it. But I also wanted to ask you if you feel that because of what we've seen in recent past about protests, I mean, the very recent is the one that I talk about most of the time, which is the NSAS protest against brutality, that made a lot of cities, or capital cities across the country, become a shadow of itself because of the wanton destruction by some youth who, became violent. So I'm just wondering if you feel that if this in any way dovetail into destruction, would it be a blame by the organizers or blame by the security agencies? Because security agencies were also part of those who protected those who went about doing their protests in the year 2020. If we still have him, let's have him on board. Dr. Uche, are you there?
Sorry. If you can repeat the last part of your question about security.
You mean that it is constitutional and for people to protest. Of course, for the fact that we have had a recent protest, the 2020 protest that had the protest against police brutality, the end protest, and the government of the day may be seeing it as maybe a repeat of what may have happened in 2020. That's the reason why they were going back and forth and hoping that they could stop the protest instead of at least even in any way starting at all.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes things happen, bad things happen, good things happen. What I want is that we learn lessons from those things. That's not enough reason to say people cannot protest. And of course, I'm all about preventing protest. So the question is, what have we done? How effective has the government? And I'm part of this government. I'm an APC member, for full disclosure, support this president. But what have we done effectively? Now, you look at commentary by some of the people connected with the administration, leading up to this, maybe a few hours ago, began to see a different tone. A different. What I read what the special assistant to the president on social media wrote this morning, and I said that's the way to go. In contrasting it with what he said a couple of days ago, it is not only opposition members Nigerians who are happy or disenchanted. It's also supporters of this government. Now the way to express it may be different. So my point is that the rhetoric that I'm hearing in the last 48 hours is better. We had, because I'm talking beyond this protest, because I don't believe that there should be a protest now. I have everywhere that we need to give this government a little more time. Give the government like this. And I say that with empathy. I say that while acknowledging the realities that you and I and everyone else faces. That I'm a member of APC doesn't mean immune from these issues. That I have a business that I run doesn't mean that there are not people who don't have any job. People are going through more difficult times. So there has to be empathy. Beyond information, we are very good at information giving, but we are not good at communication. It is when you communicate that you have that feedback mechanism. So what we should do is not to tell people who feel like they want to go on the street to protest, you don't have to protest. Even when we say that they have a right to protest, we also add things, emotional blackmail. We also get them to feel that, but if you protest, you are not patriotic and you don't love the nation, or you don't even love the president. No, we should get them to understand this is A, B. We understand, first of all, what you are going through. Sincerely, we let them understand. Then we let them know 1, 2, 3, 4 clearly what we are doing. Then connect what you are doing with the vision, with the hope. Hope is not built on a phantom. It is built on something you can tangible, you can see. It's not just on words. And if you see that there's a great disconnect between the government and the citizenry, and that cuts across board, not only opposition party members. What we should do, I've talked about empathy. When you show empathy, not only in your words, but in your actions. When you have ministers who are dancing video, and the video that allow those videos to be taken and to go viral, what do you think the person, the other citizen who looking at that is saying, wait, I can't even buy drugs, malaria drugs. And these guys are dancing. These are real time issues. When you see the plethora of SUVs, brand new SUVs that are being bought everywhere, all over the place, from the federal to the state government, and you're looking at the guy who is trying to see how he can, put 1 liter of oil in his vehicle to move for a day. These are the issues. Then you need to, when you communicate, you get feedback. We have to create opportunity for dialogue. If we had enough dialogue, look at the plethora of aides of the president on the social media. How many times do you have them set up a dialogue? I mean, an intellectual-based dialogue. Is there a conversation room somewhere where even the supporters of the president, of the government, can analyze issues? Then that will help the government to be proactive. I've talked about the speed of delivery of issues. Look, these are real issues. Because I'm looking at how do we forestall this both now and in the future. If you look at some of the promises that were made immediately after the subsidy removal, many of them have not been realized. Now, there could be issues of procurement, but you see, there are smaller issues that are low-hanging fruits that could immediately have kicked in. Now, 1 year after, we have reloaded some of those promises and maybe updated on them, and then we're saying in 150 days, we're going to. People are not robots. They feel. So what I'm saying, beyond saying whether this protest is peaceful, whether it should hold or not hold, we have agreed people can protest. And the people who are protesting should know also that where their right stops, the next person's right stops. You cannot, on the guise of protesting, disrupt public property, disrupt other people's right of movement, and those who don't agree to join in the protest. You cannot disrupt their life. So it is a balanced thing. And even a lot of times, see, these talks that precede planned protests help to also at least create an atmosphere of tension, an atmosphere of fear. Then the people who are coming out to protest, maybe even if they wanted to be peaceful or if they plan to have a peaceful protest, they become aggressive and also prepare themselves for any eventuality. And then sometimes, not only in Nigeria, especially in Africa, the way the state responds to such, it's almost as if there's zero tolerance. To expressing of dissent in a way like, I don't agree with you on this or that. So we have to take all these things together, and when we take them together, we'll be able to get a way forward, not just for this protest. I believe that, and I appeal to those organizing this protest to shelve it while we give the government a little more time, not forever, right out loud. Yes, a little more time to see if they can put together their thought process, the things they're doing right now. And if they don't, then we can be more justified. Not that we are not justified now to go for protest, but maybe more justified.
Dr. Diala, in your own opinion, can you differentiate between protests and what's being advocated for peaceful protest, violent demonstration, and riots? In your own opinion?
Yeah. First of all, most protests start as a peaceful protest. I don't think anybody goes to protest and maybe some people, I don't know, to say I am going for a violent protest. And I'll tell you what I mean. Protests usually start off as peaceful, a peaceful demonstration. Somewhere along and from our experience, even in NSAS, that most of us supported the idea behind the NSAS protests. Most of us have been victims. It started peacefully. Now, either it is hijacked by fifth columnists and other unscrupulous elements, even those who are paid. We know that people are paid to do certain things. Or there's the security for agencies coming, and somehow something goes wrong somewhere, and then all hell is let loose. But I want to differentiate between a protest and an uprising. That are two different things. Protests, like I've written on social media, protests are usually things that are thought about, planned, people take their time, we want to do this and all that. An uprising is more spontaneous and more dangerous. And all the things I'm saying is that the focus of the government, which I am part of, as a member of the APC and a supporter, should be more proactive, especially to address the issue of hunger, because that is one thing that can lead to an uprising. An uprising, we won't have the time to have all this dialogue, all this conversation before it. But to your question, yes, there's a difference between a protest, a peaceful protest, and a riot. And I'm saying that most protests start off as a protest, but somewhere along the line it is hijacked. And that is where, of course, you cannot preempt or predict what can happen. That's why it's better to stop some of these things in a proper way. Things of acknowledge that people have a right to go on the streets. But if we have measures in place to promote dialogue, to promote engagement, and also, of course, the deliverables, the government is trying, but people need to see those deliverables. It needs to touch their lives. And people also need to be realistic, actually, in the expectations. So, yes, there can be peaceful protests, but those peaceful protests, if care not taken, can be hijacked. Do we now say that there shouldn't be protests then, because it can be hijacked or turned into a riot? No. Then we need to sit up. One, to try to prevent that in the first place, and two, to to have proper mechanisms for containing these riots, so that they don't, these protests, so that they don't spill over. Even when they spill into something more violent or more aggressive, we need to have proper ways of managing such situations.
So, Dr. Diala, you have actually admitted you're a member of APC. Now, do you think that what the government of the day is doing is right, by having these meetings, keep talking, we will have meetings to address they've been addressing it, instead of solving the issues, which is good governance and stop hunger and the rest? Because if they address this, there are other things that will sprout up. So do you think that what the government of the day, they are going about this protest the right way, by just keep talking and having meetings instead of addressing the issues?
Yeah. If you recall, I said that this protest is not only by opposition members. Some of us APC members are protesting. The difference is that we are not carrying placards on the street. But when we express our opinions on social media and offline, that is a way of saying that protesting some things we don't like. I have said, and I've said it here and I've said it outside of here, that I don't like the speed of delivery. The speed is slow. The intention is right. The speed is slow. I have said it and I'm clear about it. I don't want to politically correct, because this is about all our collective lives. There's the need to speed up the process of delivery. And in doing that, you want to classify what you need to do. So number one, you have short-term goals, you have immediate-term goals, you have short-term goals, you have medium-term and long-term goals. Now, if we are trying to address immediate issues with long-term plans, that's not going to bode well. When fuel subsidy was removed, and I have said that it was a bit abruptly removed, because I believe, and this is my personal view, that there needed to be some cushions. We have overused the word palliative, it is now been I don't know what it is again. So there needed to be some cushions in place, and there are certain basic, and I went ahead to mention certain cushions that are not, tokenism per se, things that will have broader impact on most people. One of them is transportation. Now, of course, the government went that way by saying that, talking about CNG buses and all that. But at the time this was done, that you woke up to today, suddenly you are now buying petrol from about something to 400 or thereabouts. How do you adjust in the instant? How does the civil servant who has to now pay, or the worker, not the civil, I have staff who work for me, how do you adjust from paying to 200 naira every day to 400 naira immediately? So I agree. I admit that we have been a bit slow in delivering on certain soft cell palliatives or cushions that would have made it easier for us to wait. And Nigerians have waited a bit. And I can't say that they're impatient, because we don't have the same degree of tolerance because we don't know our situations. People can't even get food to eat this morning. So if the person says, "Oh, I'm tired," what do? You tell the person, "Well, sorry, please, no, calm down. It's going to be fine." But that hope you are building should be built on tangibles. So to your question, this government has good intentions. This government has what I call some high-tech ideas and policies. The question is, are they congruous with our situation? Can they square really with where we are, where we're essentially a subsistence nation? We are a hand-to-mouth, pay-as-you-go nation. That's for the policy makers to really see, so that we maybe can readjust a bit to be able to deliver on immediate things and deliver it efficiently. Look, we have seen parts of rice being delivered to senators, legislators, and governors. But many Nigerians will tell you they didn't see it. So is there something wrong with the delivery? Should we tinker with it a bit? These are important questions that need to be asked. And I've been asking it of this government, because it's our government that we elected. If some of these things is not all rocket science, you have embarked on far-reaching policies, reforms, beautiful. Now, I want to know from any member of this administration, any official, to give me a 10, 20, 30 minutes clear analysis of what we have done in terms of policies in place, and what I expect to get in 6 months, in 1 year, and in the long term. If this is done, many Nigerians are very patient people. Many Nigerians will better buy in, and then we will have less of, even as we are going through difficulties, we know. But if a loaf of bread continues to increase the price every day, a particular loaf of bread I buy in one supermarket in Nigeria, from in the last 3 days, it had gone from 140 to 145 to yesterday 155. I mean 1,550. So you may expect that by Sunday it might get to 1,650. So where is this going to stop? So this right. is we need more work to do. We need more work in explaining to Nigerians what we are doing and what they should expect in real time. And we need, I say, Mr. President needs to address the nation. I
All
said
right.
so.
It's interesting that you have put it in that perspective. I think probably you're just the only APC member that I have seen, maybe there may be more, that agrees with this protest. But it's fine. You are the Executive Director, War Against Indiscipline. How disciplined do you think Nigerians are, especially as it concerns these types of gatherings? How disciplined do you think Nigerians are with carrying out this protest that hopefully doesn't dovetail into chaos? And are you not so scared that if this protest holds, that maybe there might be a third hand in it? Politicians may hijack it, opposition leader may hijack it and sponsor it and make sure it's violent to the extent of maybe, causing more chaos. We've seen Atiku endorse the protest. Peter Obi hasn't, even though, he has spoken, about it. Don't you think that in that direction?
Number one, let me correct an impression. I am not supporting the protest. I never said that, both here and elsewhere. Even in this program, I have advised that planned protest should be shelved, at least for now, to give the government some time. I need to be clear on that. I'm speaking here as a patriotic Nigerian, and I acknowledge my political
going forward, I'm
position.
talking about the protest. Do you think Nigerians are disciplined enough to have a protest without chaos?
Yeah, no. I first had to clarify so that people will not say I support the I don't. Now, secondly, you and I acknowledge that people have a right to protest. For crying out loud, that's a given. Should they? Must they? No. Now, and I went ahead to give intervening things that we can do to prevent. It's not enough to say don't protest. If you say don't protest, now you go take care of me. So we got to be realistic. That's what I'm saying. So if say don't protest, we also tell them, because that's why I reference what Dada Olusegun sent out this morning. That for me is how it should be, stating what we are doing clearly. So more of that should be done. Then as to whether Nigerians are disciplined or not, my brother, one, hunger no gets friendo. Let's not try to politically correct here, right? First of all, so anybody can show grief. Your wife can wake up in the morning and feel that you didn't do well at night, and she start protesting you. She will not give you food. So it's given. But then, to your point, Nigerians, us, me, you, are not disciplined. Not only in keeping a protest straight or clean or civil, even in how we behave on the streets. I've been an advocate of national orientation, renewed national orientation. And my brother, opportunities like this that I have, and I thank you for the opportunity, is for us to look at the bigger picture. What is our effort to get Nigerians to be disciplined and patriotic in an organic manner, in a way that it becomes part of them? Not that today I'm talking because I'm an APC member. Everything that is not right or proper is proper and right to me. No, we should build a society where people operate and reason and act based on a set of core values that are acceptable across board. And that's where I call on the NOA. I'm happy that my good senior brother and friend, Malam Lado Onilu, is trying to reform that, the whole idea of national orientation. But it needs to do more. We need to leave this fire brigade approach to national orientation and national, civic education and all that, to go to something that we go deep from the root and begin to build back up. So the answer to your question is that Nigerians are not disciplined to really handle anything, and some Nigerians, let's also be please, let me not induct everybody. There are Nigerians who are disciplined and principled and all that. But the question is, should we, and this is an important question, should we, because we know that there are a few bad eggs amongst us, not do the things we should do? Should we, because we know that there are a few leaders who are corrupt, who are inept, who are incompetent, now say every leader is incompetent or will be stealing our money? No. So the point is that while we acknowledge the rights of the people to protest, Nigerians to protest, including me and you, I appeal to Nigerians to please give this government a little more time. And I
the
believe
last
that
leg
if
of the question, the last leg of the question,
sorry.
which is politicians
Yes.
trying to, take over this particular matter and maybe make it chaotic.
I have implicit faith in the ability of that great Nigerian to be intelligent, to reason for themselves. Forget we see a lot of, crowd mentality. I think, and if you look at comment on social media, that a lot of Nigerians, not because they are very happy, but because they're patriotic and they understand, are not listening to what some of these people are saying. Because they also point out to Oga, the time you were there, now you did this, you didn't do that. So I am worried about that. But that is where, for crying out loud. Yes.
Dr. Diala, we really appreciate. I would, just want you to wrap your thoughts and beyond the opposition. Beyond this, just a yes or no. There's a possibility we keep talking about the opposition being responsible that could sponsor it. Is it possible that members of within could also be part of it?
Absolutely yes, because it is the rat in the house that tells the rat outside that there's fish in the fireplace. So of course, absolutely yes. There are aggrieved APC members for whatever reason they are aggrieved. So I accept that. But we are Nigerians. We should come together, try to identify our detractors, keep them away, and have proper judgment we need to have for our nation to move forward peacefully and in a progressive way.
Thank you so much, Dr. Uche Diala, the Executive Director of War Against Indiscipline. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go for a break and we'll be right back. Entertainment news is upon us.
Quickly.